Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. We got a great show today. We're going to cover some more stuff about mental health. Plus, we're going to continue our giveaways. So let's get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Patrick Flynn. Welcome to this morning's A Different Perspective. I am always so excited that you guys are here with us today. It's December 31st. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that it's already New Year's Eve. It's been an incredible week. Some amazing things. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas holiday. Christmas was fantastic as always here, and we celebrated, had some great things, but I cannot believe that we are upon 2023 and everything going on. Excited for it that way. Can't wait to see what's 2023 is here within what? We got what? Count down the hours. Has the party in New York City and the ball, started yet? It's going to be kind of exciting watching that. So excited you guys are here today. We got so much stuff to cover and everything like that. So as you can see what we're doing, so remember, I got my whole sheet of more giveaways. If you look over, we have Eric and Devin over there sitting on the other side that is going to be on adp.thewellnessway.com, and they're going to go through all and pick all the winners of today. Now, let me tell you this. We're doing another Academy Scholarship, okay? For that, the Academy has been doing wonderful. I'm going to talk about some of the things that have happened over the last year. It's been great. We're going to do a 12-month care plan. That includes a test read, education, food education for that. We have 3 free consults. We have 2 new patient packets. We have holiday basket travel, a travel basket. I'll actually bring that up when we get to the giveaways. But do me a favor. What you want, put it in the comments, all right? Not a joke. Now do me another favor. If you've already won a free gift, can you do me a favor? Can you not put anything in there? Please let everybody win as much as possible. We like to spread the things through that way. So if you could do me a favor, if you're looking for a scholarship, if you're looking for some care, you're looking for a new patient appointment, you're looking for a consult, things like that, put it in the comments below. But if you've already won, I know we all would like to win things over and over again, but if we've already won, guess what happens? It's just like our little dancing snowman here. He's kind of cute, isn't he? So it's like, yeah, it's kind of neat. That's great having such an amazing media team do stuff. So remember, do me a favor, put what you would like to win in there. Eric and Devin are over there. They're going to go through everything and pick them, and we'll do it at the end. But you got to remember, you got to be on adp.thewellnessway.com. I know we're on Instagram right now. We're on TikTok. I know we're on Facebook. But you got to go over to the website, adp.thewellnessway.com, and put it in the comments what you'd like to win, and they will pick. And then stay interacting, stay talking. And always remember that. Go to our newsletter. As you can see that we do with our whole thing. If you scroll down through our website and go to the bottom, always remember, the Wellness Way website brings and actually gets so many hits per month. It's mind-blowing what happened over 2022. But if you go there, you can sign up for a newsletter. What it does, it allows us to actually see everything. And we get to interact with you. We get to actually share all our videos. You can see our recipes, you can see everything. The website has been just actually literally magical. I was looking at our stats the other day just to see how many of millions and millions of people, have been searching us. And it was interesting because with all of the videos of the Wellness Way and the docs that way, well, we've been searched hundreds of millions of times just even in December. That's amazing. I can honestly tell you, I was sitting with Dr. Jason yesterday, and Dr. Jason has an amazing story of being 290 pounds down to 190 pounds just by getting rid of sugar, really, and actually doing all the great things. Yes, did he do more than just get rid of sugar? Yes, but he actually started with, when I first met him, he used to drink about 2 liters twice a day of Dr. Pepper. And his story is absolutely life-changing and amazing. And it was great because he shares those stories on there, and his TikTok and Instagram and things that were coming to the website just went nuts because people actually want to see things like that, and they actually can relate to it that way. Man, I remember when I was a kid, I don't know about you guys, do me a favor, because this would be kind of fun. In the comments, what was your favorite soda when you were younger? Man, my advice when I was a kid, because my grandpa had a bar, I used to go across the road and I'd have a Coca-Cola and a Kit Kat. Oh, my stomach turns just thinking about it that way. But I used to run over my grandpa, and he'd grab the candy jar, you know, the old tavern stuff, and have all the candy bars there. I'd grab a Kit Kat, and then I'd go into the cooler and grab a Coca-Cola, and I'd sit there at the bar. Yes, I would sit there at the bar and actually have a Kit Kat and a Coca-Cola. And then remember the old Tombstone pizzas? That was, I know, do you see what I'm saying? It was like, I was like, holy, and you know, being a guy who's actually a foodie and actually is an emotional eater, that sounds damn good right now, doesn't it? A Tombstone pizza, a Kit Kat, and a Coke. And you're wrong, I've not had that stuff since I was young. But the idea is this, could you imagine? It's like we all have that, which relates to what we're gonna do over the next month, trying to get rid of all that stuff. Now, that's not part of the Wellness Way lifestyle and part of our life ever, but the idea is this, we've all had those vices. I've told you guys stories of my past when I was in college before I learned about it. I used to live on the east side of Green Bay when I went to college, and there was a Taco Bell literally 2 blocks away from my house. And you could get tacos for like 29 cents. You know what I'm saying? So for $1, when you're a college student and you're dirt poor, man, 3 tacos and were fantastic. But I remember I used to eat like 6 or 8 tacos and that, so it was kind of fun. So I had like $3. I was like, I could have a whole meal. Anyways, yes, our beautiful newsletter. But wait, remember this, when you're on the website, thewellnessway.com, the most important button is actually go up to that top right, and you're gonna see Find a Clinic. And we have more clinics all over the world than we ever had. It's kind of great. More people have becoming Wellness Ways. But I do want to talk about something just before we get started on that, is what's happened with the company over the last year has been fantastic. And there's been some times I wanted to pull my hair out. Well, my chest hair out, okay? Because let me tell you, there has been times, people know this, I'm sorry, I've been very transparent about a lot of things in my life. And there's times that, once again, there have been high highs and there have been low lows and stuff. And that's gonna continue. There's gonna be times where you just love life and hate life. I'm sorry, all you guys know what I'm talking about. And the company actually, we went from having, so you'll see that what we did is we are tomorrow, I'm so excited about this. Tomorrow, the Wellness Way is actually a legal franchise. You say, Doc, what does that mean? Guess what happens? It's gonna sound weird, but imagine this, is we have many types of practitioners, but there's one thing that I am so particular on is getting the best clinical outcomes. How's that come about? There's a certain thinking you have to have in order to actually get the care and get the results we do. That's why we grew. If it was grown just on me and my personality, we'd be broke. You know what I'm saying? Because I piss off a lot of people. I really do. I get under, I tell people, you know, there's wonderful people out there like Dr. Jason and Dr. Mitch and a bunch of other wonderful docs that we have that I say I call them chocolate. You know, everybody just likes chocolate. You know, I'm more of a caramel cashew. You either love me or you freaking hate me. There is no in between. Nobody's like, caramel cashew, like, sucks or it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not chocolate. I'm not everybody's brand. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that nobody can argue with, I've had people say, man, I don't like the way Dr. Patrick talks. I don't like his personality. I don't like that he swears. I don't like this stuff that way. But gosh darn it, what he's done clinically and the results he gets are second to none. And that's what our whole thing was built on. So then we have wonderful doctors that just want to learn some clinical things. And we have a wonderful coaching program for those doctors. And then we have also our academy. This is just a wonderful way for medical people or people of all lives, all areas of life that actually can join in and train with us. Then we have an amazing, and we got even Dr. Lucas here who's interning with you've seen him on camera that way. He's gonna be one of our clinics here. And next, well, I think you're done in February, right, Doc? 24th. Yeah, February 24th, he's gonna be, oh my goodness, I'll be in Hawaii when you graduate. Because Devin and Faye's wedding and stuff. But the idea is this, I've known him since he was an undergraduate and then came through our student program. And then what happens, so we have those 3 amazing departments, but then we have something very special to me in my heart. Because if you would have asked me 20 years ago that I would have been doing this, no. But now we have what we call our Wellness Way franchise, which is nothing more that if you were to walk into any Wellness Way, what's gonna happen is this. You may have a different doctor. You may actually have a male or a female or different personalities. You may have a doctor that's quiet. You may have a doctor that's outgoing and boisterous. But one thing is this, what you'll have is the clinical outcomes that you're gonna get by that Wellness Way that has that puzzle piece up there. I know what you're gonna get when you walk in there. See, I can teach a lab to a medical doctor, and he can still drug the heck out of people. He can adapt a little bit to that lab and some of the things I've taught him. But the idea is this, but to get the full experience, we actually have these amazing franchise offices. So that's why when people say, well, Doc, you might have less offices. Actually, I don't have less offices. Actually, what I do is I have a division of them now franchise, and I have a lot of coaching doctors and stuff. So they kept their own brand, which I am totally great with and everything, because they're still learning some clinical things. They're still going to do wonderful work for people out there that way. It's just that obviously what you now see and what you see on Find the Clinic, that guess what happens? You're only going to see our franchise ones on our website now. I will still teach a lot of docs. I will still have coaching clients that you guys probably will never get to know or hear about that way, because the only ones that you'll see are the ones that Find the Clinic up there. So just that's a new great thing for the new year. It's a great way to actually start off, and we launch that tomorrow. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what we have to bring this next year. But what you will notice though is every month you'll see more offices and offices. I actually was excited because he's probably on right now. I was talking to a wonderful doctor. His name is Dr. Robert. We'll be adding an office, believe it or not, our probably first one in the Pennsylvania area. And so it's kind of neat. We're going to continue to have more offices spread out. They'll see them keep on popping up every month. So if you just sit around one day, jump on the website, guess what happens? You can see they'll pop up and we'll introduce all the new docs on a regular basis. And I guarantee you every month, you'll see more offices and more offices and more offices, and those dots will continue to go. So excited about that part, really excited about that way. But that being said, we're going to continue our series on mental health today, all right? Because once again, mental health during December sometimes can be very rough because people may lack family, they may lack some things, may have had some trauma, they may have some stuff that brings some stuff, but mental health is quite interesting. Now, it's kind of funny. As like I do, I am kind of a person that, gets under some people's skin every once in a while. And I posted some stuff that just kind of, I love when I say that and all my staff is like, yeah, that's damn true, okay? Because I even do it inside the company. I really do. I'm like, all right, good. I'm going to push you and stuff like that. I'm going to get you to a level that I hope that, no one else will ever get you to. And so sometimes it can be downright irritating. But the idea is this, is, the one thing that I can honestly say is I've never dealt with mental health issues as far as personally. And I actually was thinking about this a little bit. And I made a post. Now, this was based on me and some, and I'm surrounded by, and remember, as you guys know from my teachings, men and women are extremely different physiologically, dramatically different. And I don't care what the future says about men and women that way. We are so different. And as we continue to teach, we're going to show you the major difference. And I posted something, and it's really true, because it's interesting because I was interviewing men through the process of mental health. And I posted something, I said, men that are very competitive don't really suffer from boredom or depression. And I started to ask, and the reason why I made that post, I started to ask some guys, and I said, yeah, I had some depressive states in my life. And I said, okay, listen, and there's a difference between depressive states, which can be biochemical and also physiological, and also, once again, something that happens from just complete lack of what's going to happen in their future. Now, what do I mean by that? And I posted because as you are competitive, you're always looking forward, you're always moving forward, you're always challenging yourself. And challenge yourself, once again, can be very frustrating, but there's a very big difference between frustration and depression. Because I've seen people that have had low testosterone, extremely low testosterone, and guess what happens? It can be a depressive state, a true clinical depressive state. So I'm not saying that can't happen. But you know what's really funny? This is really funny. Ladies, I'm gonna tell you this. You wanna see your man become unbored and undepressed? Challenge him. Challenge him. Challenge him in 2023. Because we have some great men sitting in this room right now, and guess what happens? If I were to almost physically challenge them to a fight, their testosterone will go up. It will. Because by nature, it's gonna drive it up. See, so that's why I think when people say, well, Doc, how can you say that you've never had a depressive state? I said, because I've always been highly competitive with myself. Now, competitive doesn't mean I'm trying to beat Dr. Lucas or Eric or Devin or Dr. Devin or Eric or Travis or Brandon, who's here and some of that. No, what happened is this, that competition is on myself. So there's a mental aspect of that constant pushing forward that actually can drive testosterone up, but also even make it to the standpoint that, guess what? That it doesn't lead to any true depressive states, because I've seen men that are very clinically depressed. And I remember even in the Hormone Connection seminar, I shared some labs to where a guy was horribly depressed and testosterone was 0. And I can honestly tell you, and I don't get to go into detail much during a hormone seminar because I'm trying to speak in a lot of generalities to get the big concept that way. But one of the things I did to that guy is I challenged him even personally to get up, to move forward, push it through that frustration. And it worked dramatically. And it's worked hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times. See, the reason why I can say hundreds of thousands and millions of times and things like that, because regardless, once again, of me and how many patients I saw through my whole clinical career, I actually get to have these experiences with all of our docs and all their patients on a daily basis. On Monday, each office, because we have a lot of them, we'll see thousands and thousands and thousands of patients just on Monday. So all that data collected and all that data put together leads to these things of why we come up with some of the conclusions. So when it comes to mental health, it's really important that there's going to be certain strategies that are important. So people said to me, they said, so I want to show you a question that was posed during this month, and I want to relate to this because it shows what I did clinically also. Here it is. Dr. Patrick, what are 2 things that you used in practice to help people of all ages with mental health issues, from anxiety to overall stress? Those are great questions. See, the one thing that's kind of nice, a different perspective is to do what when we're here on Saturdays, is to teach you. See, I like being a teacher. I really do. People say all the time that, you know, and they'll say, Doc, you should really do a podcast. Did I ever tell you I hate podcasts? I don't listen to them. I'm more of a visual video person. So I'm more of a YouTube person where I can watch somebody teach or write something down, things like that. And there's people that are very auditory. I'm not. It's really funny. The only auditory thing is I'm good with music because I like to run it through my head. And like I said, if you were here over in studio, man, we're cranking music 15, 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour before, and it's loud in here and we're jamming out, we're having a blast that way. That's just more of a good pump of energy thing before we go. It kind of clears see, that noise clears my mind. See, people think it would actually fill it up. No, for me, it clears my mind so when I get focused for here. But the idea is this, is there's things that I didn't practice every day to help people's mental state, and they clinically work dramatically, which we now share with all these people. And some are gonna surprise you. So they said, listen, we're teaching you during ADP, but today, obviously because it's our last day of mental health before we turn to the new year, because next month, Travis, remind me, it's weight loss, isn't it? Yeah, I think it sounds right. Eric, see, yeah, I think it is, yes. Next month, we'll be focusing on weight loss. And this can be kind of great because I'm gonna have Dr. Jason step in and teach a part in the ADP for that way, just because of his own personal experience and what he did clinically too. But the idea is this, is today we're gonna go over some of the things that I use clinically and which all the doctors still use. And I'm gonna surprise you some things that are gonna seem a little bit weird when I actually use them that way, but I'm gonna go into great detail of it that way and physiologically prove to you how it works. And then as you're doing research, you're gonna be dramatically blown away like, oh my goodness, this is out there, it's well researched, yes, but it's not mainstream. See, it's kind of funny. It's not the common thing that's used when it comes to healthcare, but the wellness way never was common when it came to healthcare and stuff. So let's do this. And I want to show you something. One of my things that I love, it's something I live by, is I'm always content, but I'm never satisfied. And what I mean by that is this. I have to give Travis some props because when Travis came on this year, some of the things that he did made our company better. See, every time we add and put some people in there, so when we started out, you're gonna see, we're gonna do our perspective. It was just a slide, but now it's a slide with music. So we're gonna now move into our great perspective. Come on, you just gotta jam out to that. Travis, thank you for a great 2022 and things that you've added. We really appreciate everything you do. Our perspective on mental health. All right, so 2 things I use in practice that really made a clinical difference. And it's something so simple. See, people are always looking, and remember, when people came into us, and if you go into a wellness way right now because you are in a bad mental health state, you're suffering depression, anxiety, any of the major health issues mentally that way, these things are universally and they work with everybody. Not a joke, they work with everybody. Let me give you a dumb example, okay? I want you to think about this. Let's say that you just happen to go to any doctor, okay, for just a exam. And all of a sudden they sit you down, they grab this little thing, hammer, okay, a little patella hammer, reflex hammer. And they sit down, they go to your knee, and they give it a little hit, and you get a little reflex. See, that's kind of universal for everybody. It's universal for all ages. There's going to be a reflex that your body responds to. You have a stimulus, and then the body reflexes to it that way. Kind of common. And if all of a sudden we see some deficiency there, what happens? It can actually give us a little clue that maybe there's some neurological problem, maybe there's some other issue that we need to investigate that way. Well, the nice thing is the body works that way quite well. And the one thing when it came to stress, anxiety, because dealing with female hormones, and that was the majority of my care for a long period of time, there is a lot of things that lead to stress, anxiety, and it needs to calm down quickly. I've told you once again, and so you guys heard the story. You guys heard the story a while ago when I talked about how I had a patient one day walk in and her husband was holding her and she was trembling and she was shaking. She was shaking, she was literally shaking. And no joke. And remember, he begged me, he said, please help. No appointment, no nothing. She walked in and imagine, I want you to picture this, okay? A husband dearly loving his wife, holding, wrapping around, and she is just trembling and shaking, walking in. And we're talking violently. We're not talking she's just trembling. She is just shaking. And it was heart-wrenching when I walked into the room. Because when I walked into the room, they were standing there like that. Because all of a sudden, I'm with some patients, and one of my managers comes and says, hey, doc, I think we have to divert your attention towards here. I said, what's going on? She's like, there's a very severe person going through massive attacks that way. And my first question was, I said, did she go to the hospital or anything first that way? And they're like, no. And so I had to find some more information. So I walked in and I could see that how visibly she was in a massive attack that way. And I, once again, making sure that everything's safe. I said, have you already been to the hospital? What's going on that way? And the husband looked at me and said, that's why we're here. We don't want to end up there again because all they do is massively sedate her and actually she doesn't get better. And they've been there repeatedly. And so they just took a chance that I would take care of her. So, of course, think of it this way. In the state that she was in, what was I going to do? What kind of lab was I going to do? She's there visibly that way. And I'm going to explain the whole thing because I'm like, okay. So what I need to do, and I told a bit of a story. And I told you there was one herb I went to grab. And I literally grabbed a tablespoon and I walked and I said, take this right away. And then, believe it or not, here's what happened. I went and I got a big old bowl from back in our kitchen. And I actually took some ice out of the freezer, went to the lab, filled it up, walked into the room, and I said, do me a favor, submerge her head in the water. I gave her a towel and everything like that, and I had her dip her head and hold her under there. Not him hold her, I just hold her and stuff like that. Yeah, husband, hold her underwater. Okay, no, it makes all things go away. Okay, that was kind of funny, but anyways. No, hold her and then let her put her face in the water and come up and stuff like that. What was I doing? There's something, as you can see right here as I put up the slide, and I want you to research this. There's a mammalian diving reflex. There was. And believe it or not, here's what happens. It's actually innately built into all of us. It doesn't matter if it's me, Travis, Dr. Lucas, Dr. Devin, Eric, Brandon, anything. And it doesn't matter if you're female, it doesn't matter if you're male, it doesn't matter if you're a child. Just like giving that little patella reflex, when you hit the knee, there's a reflex that your body goes through. And I'm gonna show you some of the things, how your body reacts to actually that stimulus. Just like that, once again, that stimulus of that little hammer hitting the tendon, there is a reflex. Just like that cold water, us going underwater, actually there's a reflex to where our body responds. Now, let me show you what happens. Number one, here's what happens. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve. Okay, I want you to think about this. If you understand the body and just in general, your body, when it goes into fight or flight, it is sympathetic dominant. See, if you think this way, it's a generalization of it, but it's much more detailed than this. The sympathetic is the gas, and actually the parasympathetic is the brake. For example, if I were to attack Dr. Lucas, or I were to attack anybody in this thing, their sympathetic nervous system, the gas is gonna go just revved up like way, and you're gonna see all the changes in your body to speed it up to get away from the threat. You see him? That's why all of a sudden, if the fire alarm's going right now, our heart's gonna start to race, our sympathetic's gonna kick in, and guess what? it's a good thing that stress response, that fight or flight kicks in. It gives us an opportunity to save our life. You know, in olden days, it's like this. Actually, no joke. I was actually posting stuff. Me and Miranda were posting stuff on Instagram, TikTok the other day. And so I jumped on my Instagram really quick. And guess what happened? All of a sudden, I just clicked on Reels. And I saw this video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was a really popular video. That was watched like 3 million times. It was a video of people going through the woods. And this guy had an AR-15. And these wolves were trying to attack him. And remember that one? Yeah, see, everybody's like, yeah. And he was saying, here's a reason why you have to have more than just one shot in your clip. And actually, no joke, they're all hiking, and these wolves were coming after him. It was like a crazy video. But here's what happens this. Do you think that he was sympathetic dominant or parasympathetic dominant? You think his body was calm? No. I actually got a little fight or flight. I'm like, holy mackerel, there's wolves chasing these guys. Well, you go back hundreds of years ago, you know, and stuff like that, where it was something like that, or somebody was running away from a bear. And guess what happens? You need a sympathetic dominant aspect to actually help you be in fight or flight to get away from that. But then you need the gas to actually be counteracted by the brake. And that's what the parasympathetic is. And that's what the vagus nerve does. And see, if you look at it this way, the vagus nerve actually, it's kind of one of its jobs they kind of teach you in school is rest and digest. Because if you look, the vagus nerve will affect and it go to all of these organs. And it comes directly from the brain. It comes right out the skull and goes to all of them, including the lungs, the heart, the stomach, the liver, the intestines, the kidney, the spleen, everything. That's why it's called the rest and digest aspect. So it activates that parasympathetic nervous system to start to calm things down. So when you actually submerge your face in water, guess what happens? It's like you actually start to create that reflex. Divers know this quite well. That's why it's called the mammalian. Actually, people don't realize this. Do you understand that whales do not breathe underwater? The reason why whales have a longevity is because they actually even have this. That's why some of the mammals that live the most actually have this reflex and do it on a regular basis, and they're water-based animals. You know, people don't realize that the fact that people say, well, they're holding their breath. Well, no. What happens is, yes, there is breath being held, but I'm going to show you just in a short term. If you look, they have massive amount of circulating red blood cells, and I'll show you where it comes from, because they are diving under, and therefore, yes, do they eventually got to come up? But you're going to notice that true divers actually train this, and they can change it. There's wonderful things that you can notice, that there's been people that have massive heart rates. And if they just submerge their face in cold water, they can actually watch it go down. There's a ton of not only documented research, but videos and everything out there that you can see this done. And with people, you know, so let's say that right now, I would love to see this happen in psychiatric hospitals and other things that way, because you know why? Because when they're in such fight or flight, we need to snap them out of it. And this is just one technique that will start that process. Okay, number two, here's a really important thing. It initiates bradycardia, slowing of the heart. I want you to think about the last time that you were stressed out, the last time that you were mentally having a tough day. Remember, sometimes you can even feel your heart pounding. Sometimes you can even hear it within your ears. You ever had that? Lay down and all of a sudden you can hear your heartbeat? Do you say, heart is racing, major deficiency? There's a lot of people, because of stress and anxiety and depression, their heart races. See, what it does, it actually initiates that response of bradycardia. See, the opposite being tachycardia, which is sympathetic dominance happens, this actually initiates bradycardia. It slows the heart down. It's cardiovascular, good for you. It really is, especially if you have some heart issues. It's extremely important, okay? Number three, it's a safety mechanism. It protects you. It really does. It protects you from damage. So that's why when you submerge yourself underwater, your body starts to put it into a parasympathetic, actually kind of a relaxed state, because let's say you are held underwater, guess what happens? It says, listen, we need to slow this down. We need to slow the demand for oxygen to our body down, because we know that we may be deprived of it. So it's a big time safety mechanism, which now relates to number four, which I think is so neat. It creates vasoconstriction, so narrowing in the extremities, and brings blood to all the vital organs. Think about that. Guys, putting your face in water. It actually, if you think of it this way, I want you to picture, I've used this example so much, where I know the body is so smart, because It's actually not too bad out today, but over the last couple weeks, it's been a little chilly here. But let's say, once again, let's say for the New Year's Eve, guys, we're going to actually just, put some shorts on and we're going to walk outside. That's it. Nothing but shorts on. Our body is going to go into sympathetic dominance, a fight or flight stress state, and it's going to push all of our blood to our extremities and take away from our core. And guess what happens to our digestion and all the things like that? It actually starts to shut off. See, that's why the parasympathetic is called rest and digest, because then the digestive system starts working better. Because you know why? All the blood pools towards the extremities for us to survive the stress. But on the flip side, when you do the mammalian diving reflex, your body pulls some of that blood away from your extremities and brings it to the vital organs. Now, I want you to think about this. Now, this has nothing to do with this part of a training. But when I had certain elderly people come in that were actually suffering from congestive heart failure, let me say it again, congestive heart failure. If you know somebody that's congestive heart failure, they have a hard time getting that blood back to the heart. And where does it pool towards, guys? Dr. Lucas, where's that pool towards? That's right. Just so you said right there. The feet. That's why if you ever notice, one sign of congestive heart disease is puffiness of the feet. And if you push, it's called pitting edema. So I used to ask all of my cardiovascular people. So if you came in with cardiovascular issues, I would say, here, I want to train you in the mammalian diving reflex so that at home you can do this daily. And I mean this sincerely, guys. How much does this cost? Come on, zero. Zero. It's actually, well, maybe you had to buy some ice or something like that. Most of us have an ice machine that way. But the idea is this, and remember, you would just be cold water. I just like ice water because of what it does. But the idea is this, it's actually, you get a faster reflex with cold. But the idea was all of a sudden you submerge your face underwater and guess what happens? And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this stuff works. I'm like, what do you mean? The body is so amazing, it knows what it's doing. It says, I'm going to divert that blood away from the extremities. I'm going to divert it away from the extremities and I'm going to pull it back to the heart. So as we were doing things to actually regenerate and help the cardiovascular system, we were actually working with the body's own mechanisms, its own reflexes, to actually bring blood away from the swelling in their feet, to bring it to the vital organs, and it helped dramatically. See, that's one of the different perspectives that the Wellness Way has and why we could never have a medical type thinking, because you know why? They're like, take this and everything will be good. I kind of find it funny to where it's like, if you're a diabetic, don't change your diet, just take insulin. Really? No effort on the other person's side? And see, we've trained people to think that way. But no, I always had, and the Wellness Way doctors and practitioners always have them participate, because without the participation process, there's no magic herb that's going to do it. There's no magic adjustment. There's no magic lab that we're going to figure something out without that participation there. So people just were floored that even in cardiovascular, even in congestive heart failure, we could get some of that pitting edema out just for some simple techniques of actually supporting the body's reflex to pull that away and get it more towards the vital organs. All right, number 5. Let's take a look at this. Spleen contraction. Well, as you saw on the picture before, there was a spleen on there and it contracted. And as you can see there, it says releases oxygen-rich red blood cells. Your spleen has massive, and stores them and actually holds them. But when all of a sudden, guess what happens? They come out and guess what? They're rich with oxygen. Does anybody want to know why that happens? Does anybody want to know that it's spleen? Because people think the spleen is actually, which is, it's an immune organ. Does anybody know why the spleen has massive, rich, dense, oxygenated blood? Guys, people don't realize oxygen is corrosive to almost everything except for humans. Don't believe me? Take a bite of an apple, set it down, it oxidizes. It breaks it down. That's why a lot of your bacteria are anaerobes. They can't handle oxygen. They can't. So when all of a sudden there's an infection, your body releases high, guess what? Dense, rich, oxygenated blood. And that oxygenated blood actually has more chance of actually killing off an infection because it oxidizes and damages its cell wall. See, the body is absolutely incredible. So then when they found out that they did a diving reflex, guess what happened? They actually had a factor where it's like, my goodness, there's such contraction of the spleen pushing out high rich red blood cells that now they have more circulating oxygen. Now, That's very important for a lot of tissues because high rich oxygen is great for infections. Now, see, we talked about just stress and anxiety, but if you understand some of these techniques, actually help everything. They really do. You know, that's why I kind of laugh a little bit. I watch all these things that are like, oh, now everybody's got to do ice baths and everybody's got to do this and saunas. I'm like, we've been telling people this forever. You know, it's like, welcome to the game that we've been playing for 30 years. You know, but I want to tell you something is this. Tell you something really interesting. I bought my first hyperbaric chamber in Las Vegas at a seminar back in 2000. All right, and I was actually doing an autism seminar. I was out there, and I wasn't even a speaker yet. I was just maybe 1 year in practice, but I would actually finally start making some money so I could purchase one. And guess what happened? I paid $900 for it. The same model today is almost 50 grand. The same thing. Inflation didn't go up that much. See, what happened is everything in healthcare became a massive business thing. And all of a sudden, you couldn't give hyperbaric chambers away in 2000. You couldn't give them away. Then all of a sudden, with the autism epidemic and all the things that came on that way, they started to go, ooh, this is good for this, jacked up the price. Not a joke. And what does a hyperbaric chamber do? It actually helps oxygenize the blood, helps get things to respond. I think they're fantastic, I really do. I love them, actually. But the idea is this, is there's things that you can do, because people say, because a lot of people can say, Doc, I can't afford a hyperbaric chamber. I can't afford these certain things. Hey, Mr. Jones, Miss Jones, could you do me a favor? Do you have a bowl? Do you have some ice? Do you have some water? Yep, do this for me. Can you do it every day, even sometimes 2 times a day? Absolutely. See, there's wonderful things that our practitioners all over the world, when you push that find the clinic button, when you push to a doc that has been trained and has that beautiful puzzle piece and symbol up there, this is the things that they do on a regular basis. This is how things help, even when you had to start somewhere. Because one thing about healthcare, even us, there's costs to things that way. And obviously with some of the things that happened through the pandemic and stuff like that, there's things that people are affected that way. That's why we did a lot of giveaways this year also. But things like this are simple and easy and very effective. Now, here's what's going to surprise you. It's going to sound interesting. And I give you a little, you know, prelude to this. The next slide is going to surprise, especially mothers, when I say something like this, but it works. And actually, no joke, because it's going to surprise you, and then you do it once, you're going to notice it. It's going to be kind of fun. Now, watch this. The mammalian diving reflex actually can be stimulated by 2 things. Now you say, Doc, you only talked about 1. Number 1, submerge your face in water. Number 2, splash water on your face. This is very effective on kids. Show Dr. Devin over there. Dr. Devin. Yeah. I did this to your future wife coming up when she was a kid.
Oh, God.
Okay? So, as we know, kids can get into a fight or flight kind of response and anxiety. You know you can do it to a kid? Take a cup of water, throw it in their face. I do that now. Yeah. Get this. I'm not joking. See, and some mothers are appalled by that. I'm like, really? I can tell you there's people in this office that when they start working here and all of a sudden their child will have a fit. Even if it's really not a true stress response, there's being a child. Guess what happens? Do you understand that by throwing a cup of water in their face, it'll change them? Because their body automatically goes into the safety mechanism and starts pulling it, slowing things down. It'll actually calm them down. Do you understand? It has. And people are like, oh my goodness, it works with children. Yes, it does. It really does. Because by that nature of that happening, it was kind of funny because I had one of my staff members say, the only crappy thing is it just got water on the floor, but they calmed down. See, believe it or not, I tell people this. I want you to think about this. Just from a whole aspect, you shouldn't shower every day. You lose a lot of your oils in your skin and things like that. But if you do work out, you need to shower, otherwise you're going to stink. But the idea is this. You don't want to shower every day, so if you do shower every day, or if you don't shower every day, one thing that's very important in the morning, not a joke, take cold water, splash on your face. People say it wakes me up. Well, it pulls you out of fight or flight. It gets you more in a thinking state. It actually gets you in the parasympathetic, which actually you have more reason and stuff of that. But the idea is this, splash cold water on your face. You can literally do it yourself. There is that response that happens there. It should be done. And That's why if you ever notice, you ever seen movies like this? All of a sudden, person's stressed out like that, they go into a bathroom and they just put water on their face and they go, ah. There's actually science behind that. You're creating that reflex that does a wonderful job of actually getting their body to respond and calm down. It can happen with children. You understand? And remember, I know it sounds interesting. A lot of people don't realize this. As you heard when I first started, I bought my first hyperbaric chamber when I was in Vegas at an autism seminar. My whole first part of my career was not hormonal. It was not. It was all based on children and mainly autism and the psychiatric realm there. And even if the child is nonverbal, by splashing water on his face, his body still reacts, even if he can't communicate. It was one way of a technique. So go back to that woman that I had that came in with her husband holding in massive trembling that way. What happens is this, we had her, so he literally held her and she'd go on, she'd come up, and no joke, she started to feel some calming right away. Then what I did was this, I did the second most thing that I've ever given out in clinical practice when it comes to just every herb on the planet. So the number one herb I ever gave out was Albizia. It was dominated, it still is kind of today. Because, and if I give you a little shout out about it that way, it's because if you eat something bad, there's an immune response, there's histamine response, Albizia counteracts it. And I say, Doc, does it fix it? No. It's actually almost like a Benadryl, like a drug. It's calming the response down. And that, you say, why was it the most sold then? Because people are sassy. People are sassy. How many people ate some things they shouldn't have over last week? They ate too much. They ate two things. They actually had something that wasn't perfectly organic or had something, and then they go, Doc, I need some Albizia, counteracted that way. That was by far the most dominant thing I've ever sold. But, now you're wrong. As a doc, I'm saying don't eat it. Don't do it. But if you do this at least, because at least can counteract your sassiness. But the second most common thing, because I had to deal with not only children that had certain disorders, but also then moms started coming in, started figuring out the hormone stuff, and of course, stress and anxiety that relates there, is the most second thing I've ever given out to a patient is actually another herb. And it's important to know this herb because what it does, it has a very great sedative effect. It actually puts your brain, puts your nervous system back into more of a parasympathetic response, because when there is a high sympathetic dominant response, there are certain parts of our brain that are directed for fight or flight. It really is. So the one thing that I want you to know, there's this herb that we're going to show you here in just a second, and here it is. It's called California poppy. Okay, California poppy was by far the most second dominant thing that I ever gave out. So as they put up the slide here and stuff, they're doing a great job. Here we go, California poppy. Yes, you're right, guys. You look, it's the official flower of California. Supports the body's ability to cope with stressors. It actually is so good at changing the body. Like I said, they even listed in research about aches and pains. It supports bone maintenance, development. Oh, it does a lot of great things. It prevents constipation, enhances brain function. It also is really good actually for bladder and stuff. And then because once again, it does affect the parasympathetic. Now, if you look, it's probably it is by far dominant, the most second thing I ever gave out to patients, because stress and anxiety, once again, and it's even gotten worse over the years, is really high. During the last couple of years, when people were stuck at home and different things like that, anxiety and stress was high. So I can honestly tell you, people would reach out to me on Facebook and things like that, and I'd say, and I'd always give them something that was a no-cost thing first. I'm like, you know, here, what you need to do is you need to splash water on your face, and you submerge your face in water, things like that. But then also this, I said, and then if you want to sedate them things a little bit more, you want to actually take some California poppy. And once again, this California poppy has some great properties that help other tissues to really do a wonderful job and regenerate things. Yes, it does. But what I was using it for was more that sedative effect. Because as you can see from all the research, and there's great research on this, it's fantastic. The alkaloids in there, once again, behavioral effects of the American traditional plant, this is California poppy, sedative and analgesic properties. It does a wonderful job of doing that. And the one thing that they've done some clinical studies on even more, they did a wonderful double-blind study on this, is they took hawthorn, which once again, hawthorn is more of a cardiovascular, that's why you say the Gratigus, okay, and then California poppy, and they actually had magnesium, and they saw the mild to moderate anxiety disorder compared to medication. See, they actually saw a benefit compared to the medication. They took hawthorn, they took California poppy, they took magnesium, and they saw a better benefit compared to the medication. They did a double-blind ram study on that. See, there's major effects that can happen. And see, I guarantee before, most of you guys, unless you're a patient, most of you guys didn't know about submerging your face in water. Most of you guys didn't know about splashing your face in water, splashing your kid's face in water. Most of you guys didn't understand that there are things out there that obviously our whole mental health world in the medical field is just psychotic itself, and the amount that they're drugging people and the major negative side effects of suicide and everything. But there are great things out there that have been researched to show that there is a effect even compared to medications. So therefore, you need to do your own research. So when your doctor gives you an opinion, let me say this. I want to make this very clear. There's one statement you're going to hear me say a lot through 2022, because it's only even gotten worse over the last years. Remember, including myself, okay? What doctors give you is an opinion. An opinion. You say, an opinion. Because why? Because guess what? You have to decide what opinion you want to listen to. You got to go, okay, listen, that makes sense, or it doesn't. You know, anybody tries to use authority for this, it's kind of hilarious because, you know what some of this? I laugh. I'm like, all the authorities led us to where it was the last 3 years, even though we saw that coming for a long period of time. You got to look and go, listen, what makes sense? Is there something to back it up? Is there clinical results in it that way? And that's one thing that you guys want to look at, especially in 2023, because there are going to be some things that are going to be stressful. Here, raise your hand if you've had any stress in 2022. Look, everybody raise their hand. You're going to have some stress in 2023. And the amount of psychiatric medications are given out like candy, and they're becoming so common. And you understand they don't know how they work. They don't. Don't believe me? They used to think everything was about serotonin. That's not true. Actually, they even disproved that over last year. And the sad part is this, but it'll still be a narrative that they'll actually try to hold on to. For example, like people say cholesterol is bad for you. There's still people, especially your grandma and grandpa, that believe that. But if you actually do anything called reading, you'll realize it's not bad for you at all. Cholesterol is needed dramatically for life. Okay, you can't live without cholesterol. But the concept that the doctors have actually, the experts, the authorities, all the people that have actually ran things, yet, and that's one thing I'm going to talk about a lot in 2023. The advice you're getting is very poor. The opinions you're getting are very poor. And if you don't believe me, why is it that 6 out of 10 people have some form of chronic illness and 4 out of 10 have 2? And chronic illness and disease is getting younger and younger and younger. Is it because our healthcare system has the right opinions? If it did, man, it's opinions I won't want to take. You know, and with testosterone, I watch this. I even see this, and people get on Joe Rogan and say, testosterone levels have decreased massively over the last 50 years. Yeah, because who's leading the guys to actually tell them what testosterone should be and how to get it normal? The current healthcare system. How's it working for us guys? Yet, if you would draw our blood, draw Brand's blood, things like that, Dr. Lucas and stuff, and actually what happens? You see our testosterone going, well, we don't follow those norms because we don't follow the thinking and the perspective that actually is out there actually hurting a lot of people. So that's why we do certain things that, once again, sometimes will drive people nuts. You don't believe me? Next month, we have something, as you can see right here, our no sugar challenge. Now, here's what happens. As I have known my whole career, that guess what happened? And that's why I have no problem with it. I really don't. This is why I think that I have to thank God for this, is for some reason, I have very little care about how people feel. I do. I probably am I sat in somebody the other day, it's kind of funny. No joke. I sat in front of somebody the other day, and he's like, so you don't care how people feel? I'm like, no. No. Actually, and believe it or not, I'm speaking to you guys. You should never base anything on your feelings because it will make your life hell. I gotta tell you some of the things that you want to, guys, you want to succeed in 2023. Stop doing what you feel. No joke, because it can destroy you. For example, here's what happens. Right now, I feel like having a Kit Kat, a Coke, and Taco Bell. That's what I feel like. Do you say I feel like having it. And so if I gave into what I felt, guess what happens? It's going to be a bad day. So I know that everything that I talk about sometimes can be very emotionally stimulating and emotionally irritating. I love it. And see, that's the one thing. As I said, I thank God for making me the fact of going, hey, listen, you have to have some strong skin, some strong, tough skin to actually not care what people think, because you know why? Because you're going to make them And just by your words, going to make them feel angry. Don't believe me? Do me a favor. As you see, we have No Sugar Challenge coming up that way. Go on the Facebook page. Dr. Devin showed me this morning. He's like, people have lost their freaking minds. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, they're arguing. This is unsustainable. This, and this. Yeah, because you know why? What they did is they looked and said, hey, for 1 month, let's just avoid all these forms of sugar. Just 1 month. And emotionally, they're going, but I feel that I need it. And so I triggered their feelings. And so they lose their crap. Or they sit there and want to argue and stuff. It's a challenge. That means step into it and do it. That's it. And well, I have some feelings. Okay, get this. Give you an example. There is a healthier restaurant out there in Atlanta, and it's called First Watch. All right? They have some good stuff. They even have a coconut milk chia seed bowl, and they actually have these good, healthy juices, and it has lavender and lime and stuff in there, but it actually is going to have the form of sugar we can't have, which is actually, you say, well, doc, it's all good sugar. No, no, no. Remember, no sugar for a month. And so emotionally, I have to stay away from that. I feel on January 1st and 2nd and 3rd as I'm down in Atlanta that I want it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do what I feel. I'm going to resist that. And I'm going to say, listen, nope, don't eat it. And I'm going to, now you say, but doc, but you know, within the overall premise of Wellness Way, that would be an acceptable meal, but just not during January. So I understand that emotionally it triggers people like crazy because you're actually asking them to stay something that can actually bring good feelings. That's what does happen. So when you join us on No Sugar Challenge, as you can see, I'm going to be popping on Instagram every single day, as no joke, and I'm just going to tell you, give you a little update that way, and we're going to just talk a little bit in a minute, and we're just going to encourage you to continue with it. No joke, when I pop on there, I'll talk about what I ate that day and things like that, and I'll be traveling. Like I said, Faith is moving down to Atlanta this upcoming week, so I will not be in the Green Bay from Sunday through Thursday because I'll be down in Atlanta. Plus, we're doing some stuff for the Atlanta office down there. But the idea is this: so we're down there, and Durham. I'm going to be close to one of my favorite food places, but I can't eat there. Well, I can probably have their bacon and stuff like that. But the idea is this: I'm going to basically having some meat and vegetable. That's about it. Because once again, we're going to challenge everybody to try to give it up for a month. If you do that, here's what happens. If you do that, if you start to stay away from that during the whole month, by the time February 1st comes along, your life will be different. You'll have a different perspective on it. Will it be tough? Yep. But here's what I realized. Here's something I realized, especially in 2022. There's, some things that you look at and you get to pick your heart. There's decisions that are good, they're hard, decisions that are bad, they're hard. But guess what happens? Pick your heart. People want life to be easy. Life's not easy. So, doc, that's quite encouraging for 2023. No, it's very encouraging because you get a choice. It's kind of funny. I can choose to stay away from something bad, which is hard. But then, guess what happens? It's also seeing the goodness come out of it is still hard because emotions and everything kick into that. Because food is very emotional, especially me. I actually can honestly tell you, food can be my stress reliever. I never took California. I can honestly tell you, I've never taken California Poppy. I actually have not. It's kind of interesting. So even though I've given it out really hundreds of thousands of times, I've never, ever taken it myself. See, we're all going to have those hard times. So I want you guys to do is this. As you are going through No Sugar Challenge that way, guess what? It's going to be hard. But then stick with that hard because there's going to be goodness that comes out of it that way. And it's going to be a benefit on February 1st if you hang in there with us. When I'm on Instagram, I may piss and moan with you just so that I go, man, I just want some form of organic chocolate that has a little bit of sugar in there. I'll probably be there right with you, just complaining and whining. But see, complaining and whining doesn't mean I'm going to give in. Complaining and whining just means I'm going to have a little bit of emotion, and we're allowed to it. Yes, some people have more emotions than others, and that's very understandable. That's why when Devin was showing me the Facebook page this morning, people are getting downright mad. It's like, I understand. Pick your heart. So, that being said, 2022 is almost over, guys. It's been an incredible year. There's been great ups, there's been great downs, because I look at them both as great things. The company Wellness Way, guess what? has grown, and actually, no joke, let me ask you a question. There's people in your life that are no longer there that were at the beginning. There's people in your life that are new in your life. That's going to happen in 2023 too. See, everything in life actually has seasons. And sometimes the seasons can be very rough, but there's also great seasons. See, look at it this way. As I look at being in business for 24 years, one thing that I look back and reflect on, it's gotten better every year. And I went through some tough stuff. I'm excited for 2023 because I made some big changes that, guess what, not everybody liked. But when I'm speaking to you watching right now, do you think everybody's going to like the decisions you make in 2023? Keep moving forward. You men, be competitive with yourself. And this applies to women too, it's just that women are different. Be competitive with yourself, because then what happens is this: you won't be bored, you have less chance of depression, because when you compete with yourself, your testosterone does elevate. And therefore, guess what happens? You have a better chance of actually having a better mental state. That's why I'm never bored. That's why I'm never depressed. For myself, I'm speaking to myself, for myself. And I think I'm even more motivated, more testosterone driven, more competitive than ever in my life. And I can tell you guys, if you think bad stuff hasn't happened in my life, yeah, that's the thing. I'm always been open and vulnerable to you guys. And the thing is this, but no matter what happens, I keep moving forward. That's why I ask all of you guys for 2023, because then all of us, including you females, will have a better mental state and a better year. And that's the perspective that I want everybody to get. So, one thing that I love to do, even though, like I said, sometimes I'm very hard on how I speak that way, I love giveaways. I always have. And I looked at it the other day, and I'm very happy about this, but our Wellness Way team and our company has actually, after today, we gave away over $80,000 of prizes this month. 80 grand, not a joke. You know, and on top of it, if you were to look at all the individual Wellness Ways that gave away stuff, we probably gave hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff away because we have a lot of offices. So I'm very proud of all you doctors out there that continue to share and give during a time of need, because there was a woman that showed up at the Green Bay office that got one of the giveaways, and it made her holiday. She got to sit with one of our doctors and just got some advice that she hasn't gotten yet. See, one event can change the direction of your life. Be that change. You know, in 2023, be the change that you want to see in the world. See, people say, well, I don't sit there and complain about the medical field and the things that they do. I actually try to create something different so people have other options. See, I didn't sit there and just complain. I came up with a way. And actually, that's how it became the Wellness Way. So, that being said, here we go. You want to throw a little snowflakes in there for me there, Travis? There we go. Where's the dancing snowman? We'll throw him up there too. Wait, come here, buddy. There he is. There he is. All right. So we're going to go back and forth. Travis, keep that on my screen for a little bit that way. And we're going to go back and forth to Eric and Dr. Devin. First thing that we're going to give away. Oh, wait. I'm going to pull it up here. Hold on. We're going to do this. We're going to start with this. There we are. We have the holiday travel pack on there. Oh, look at that. I can't even eat this chocolate. Wait, I can eat this today. I can't eat it till tomorrow. Okay. So the organic chocolate, the huge chocolate. We got everything from Silver, Wellzymes, Albizia. Oh, Albizia. There we go. Digest Well. K2, the socks. Our Wellness Way socks are awesome. They really are. And so that. And our Wellness Way non-toxic water bottle. All right, Eric and Dr. Devin, who won our holiday travel basket?
So for the holiday travel basket, we have Jenny Peterson, who won the travel basket.
Excellent. Congratulations, Jenny. Okay. And as you can see down below, winners, please send contact information to giveaways@thewellnessway.com. Once again, giveaways@thewellnessway.com. All right. So we have 2 new patient packets to give away. Eric and stuff. Who are the 2 people who won the 2 new patient packets?
All right. The winners of the new patient packages is JJ Taylor and Julie Bocci.
Congratulations. All right. We have 3 free consults with one of our docs. 3 free consults. Who are the individuals who won that?
So for the 3 free consults, we've got Aaron Whitaker, Kelly Peterson, and Stephen Brandt.
Excellent. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful. I love consults. Consults actually, it's not a joke, guys. Consults and adjustments can actually change a person's life. All right, 12-month care plan. Oh my goodness, that's a big one. That's what, probably $7,000 or $8,000 just for that alone and stuff like that. So who is the wonderful, is this one or what is it, Eric? What do we got for
Yep.
this one?
Just the
Yeah,
one.
one winner. That winner is Jody Hill.
All right, Jody. Jody, you just won a big prize. But our grand prize, one part of the Wellness Way that has done absolutely amazing. And I'm going to say this just because I've heard some things recently that way. Our academy and our company is extremely strong. Extremely strong. No matter what's happened in life in general, guess what happens, guys? Our company moves forward strong regardless. Our academy is strong, our offices are very strong. Actually, in December, I can honestly tell you, it's a really sad thing, but we had record amount of people come into our offices. The reason why I say it's sad is because we are you people's last chance to get better. That means they've been through hell and they got to our offices. But we had record amount of patients that came in our offices in December. We had record amount of people come to our website. We had record amount of people this way. We had record amount of people see our academy, people over that. Our academy as a company, which is actually teach people how to be great practitioners, is actually big and strong. So I want to tell people this, is in 2023, our student program, our academy, our coaching, and actually our Wellness Way franchise is only going to get bigger and stronger, and regardless of what people think may happen because of what healthcare is going. So our academy scholarship, which is so important as we develop more practitioners to be amazing, which is a $12,000 scholarship. It really is. You know, people pay $12,000 every quarter to start up as a year, so it's a quarter for a whole year of schooling. But the idea is this. So to end 2022, Eric and Devin, who won our ending grand prize of our scholarship for the Academy?
So the Academy Scholarship went to the woman who was messaging constantly on here, but it is Diane Lerman. I apologize if I said your last name wrong.
Congratulations, Diane. You know, that's one thing. I love that she was messaging constantly. I love aggressive people. I do. Because you know why? Because they keep moving forward. Guys, 2022 has been a fantastic year. It really has. Everything from the departments, I know it's kind of funny. Look at our snow, look at our graphics, look at our little dancing guy here. Gotta remember that came from great people that we have here. The Wellness Way, once again, as a company, now only has A players. You know, I guarantee there's times that you have B players in your life that I had to get rid of. I had to do that as a company. I had to do that as personally. I had to do a lot of things that way over 2022. I can honestly say, I changed my life dramatically in 2022. And when you continue to always move forward and get better, guess what happens? You're gonna make your life better. Do something health-wise that makes your life better. Do something personally that makes your life better. In 2023, I'm gonna really step up and ask the men to become very strong, very testosterone, very competitive, which means you'll also be very caring, loving, and providing for the people around you that need you. See, it's nice having great men around me all the time because it actually makes you greater by doing that. So thank you guys for just a wonderful 2022. Thanks for sticking with us through the ups and downs. Thank you for sticking with us during the technical difficulties, just some of the greatest shows in history. Thank you for the hundreds of millions of views all over the world. I can honestly tell you that I am thankful every day. Before I started the show, I actually just thank God for the opportunity to share the things that I believe He's blessed us with to share with you guys. I look forward to what we have coming up this next year. We have so many amazing things going on. Our company is strong. Our company is moving forward. Our company has more great things and it has more people searching and looking for our perspective ever in history. And I believe 2023 is going to blow it away. So God bless all you guys. You guys have a safe and wonderful, happy new year. And join us next month when we actually, on the show, we cover weight loss. I'm going to bring some other doctors on, including Dr. Jason, so you can hear his story. But also, join us with No Sugar tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. There's a lot of things that start tomorrow. And the start of 2023, let's start off right. I'll see you guys next year. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single video or live stream. Each week on A Different Perspective, we bring you the most cutting-edge information on health you won't find anywhere else. For more information on this topic, please visit our website. A Different Perspective offers life-changing information and resources to share and explore. A Different Perspective is leading a health revolution.